We have, by some means, to curb this violence. But one suspects that the activity has moved itself beyond suspicion of involvement in crime, and we come to the issue today that this surveillance relates itself to political activity, that this surveillance relates itself to political opinion, and that this government has an almost pathological preoccupation with seeking to discover where everyone in this country stands politically. That even the right to hold a political opinion, puts one at risk. That's the reality in this country. That is the reality. And I'm going to say this, Your Honor. It is my belief, having heard the admission as to cybercrime was, according to one of them, was there to protect ministers, and that is a part of the record now. That cannot be denied. Cybercrime was there to protect ministers, to protect the government. We are not quite sure what tint is about, except that, again, it is an intrusion. Because if you ask a man to remove his curtains, and removing tint is equivalent to removing curtains on your house, that relates itself to a breach of privacy. And that is a part of the syndrome, the trend of governments in stripping people. Under cybercrime, I strip you of your right in your private circumstances to express yourself, whether it is on Facebook or WhatsApp. I strip you of that right as a government. Under the tint legislation, I strip you of your right to be private, even in your vehicle. And I said before, the people in Barbados are with me on this, that there has been no proof, widespread proof of a relationship between tint and violent crime. But here is this trend in which governmental legislation in this place is about stripping people of the right to privacy, and privacy is related to dignity. And when you strip a man or a woman of his or her right to privacy, you have deprived that person of the right to a dignified existence. And then we come to this. And we must feel distressed. We must feel, as a population, the people must now feel endangered. That even, Your Honor, a private conversation is no longer sacred. A private conversation is no longer dignified. A private conversation now becomes subject to this constant surveillance, and we learn from reading the legislation that this surveillance may continue for up to 120 days, and that 120 days may be renewed. We support the power of the police service in conjunction with the high judiciary, and I say the high judiciary, to administer a system of surveillance, even by telephone. But when there is legislative condemnation of political involvement in the process, then we, the citizens of this country, the right-thinking and freedom-loving citizens of this country, must reject the system